Good morning, teacher.
All right, today we are going to assess person-centered therapy for survivors of childhood physical and sexual abuse. We are going to assess the strengths and weaknesses of that person-centered therapy. All right, so now I am going to go over the learning outcomes. Today we are going to assess the value or importance of therapeutic intervention used in person-centered therapy for childhood physical and sexual abuse. We are going to evaluate the efficacy and inefficacy of person-centered therapy for childhood physical and sexual abuse, giving reasons for that evaluation. We are going to examine the appropriateness of the conclusion, which, based on the data presented, we are going to demonstrate the ability to evaluate, integrate, and apply appropriate information from various sources to create cohesive and persuasive argument. And we are also going to apply previously learned information about therapeutic intervention used in person-centered therapy for childhood physical and sexual abuse to reach an answer at the end when we end the whole lesson. All right. So since the title is person-centered therapy, where we're going to assess that, from hearing the word person-centered therapy, what comes to mind? When you hear a person that has been abused, either physically or sexually, say that, or I am going to that counselor, or I'm going to that psychologist, and they are using person-centered therapy with me, so what comes to mind? Anybody?
I'm thinking it's more like so there's like group therapy and then there's like individual therapy. So I'm thinking it's like more of an individual therapy, like he's one-on-one with he or she is one-on-one with the therapist, and they're talking about like their self and not like.
Okay, definitely, this is correct. So it's an individual, and I want you guys to use the word person, right? Like when you hear it, person-centered, like is it like, can I say that it is about the whole family or about the person, the individual? Is it about, can I say that it is about the whole family or the individual person that comes to therapy? Is it? It is about the individual. It is about the person that comes to therapy. So you don't focus on the family or friends or anything. So a little background on person-centered therapy. It was founded in 1940s and throughout 1950s, and the founder is Carl Rogers. And it is client-led, so the therapist just sit there and listen to the to the client while the client is explaining his or her own problems to the therapist. It is you as a therapist, you have to show unconditional positive regard towards the client. You have to be genuine, you have to be empathetic, and you have to show understanding to what the client is or has been facing or has faced. You do not judge the client no matter what. And these are the techniques that are used in person-centered therapy. You have to be non-directive. You have to accept negative emotion. You have to show active listening. Active listening is where you just listen to the person, but also you have to get, while the person finished talking, you just give your like a little opinion. Like, okay, for example, the person can say, or I haven't been able to sleep at night. But you're active listening, you hear that, but you could be, okay, so I hear that you say that you haven't been able to sleep at night. Is it because that you went through that? Or is it because that you're not really in contact with, or this person in your family, is it the reason that why you're not able to sleep at night? And like I said in the beginning, you have to show unconditional positive regard. You have to be empathetic. And as a therapist, you have to be mindful that when the person comes to you, you refer to the person as a client and not a patient. When you hear the word patient, you see hospital, right? Like at a hospital, they say, okay, this patient, that patient. But when the person comes to you as a therapist, this person is your client. And when you hear the word client, just like it says, you don't see the person as a helpless patient, you see that person as a partner, because the two of you are gonna come to that conclusion to reach a conclusion that can benefit the person. It's a partnership. It's not just or you're just giving your opinion and then just send the person home. You listen to the person. You use active listening to the with the person. And the goals for person-centered therapy, it facilitates personal growth and development. It eliminates or mitigates feelings of distress. It increases self-esteem and openness to experience. It also enhances the client's understanding of him or her own of herself. Because when you use person-centered therapy, you let the person explain or tell you what he or she is going through, so that person is able to have a deeper understanding of what he or she stands for, what he or she has been going through. And like we said, we were going to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of it. These are the strengths of it. It is a genuine, therapeutic process. And the therapist shows genuine and deep respect for the client, because you don't judge the client. So this is one strength of it. And relationship is key. That's where you build a relationship with the client. You get to know the client. You get to know what the client has been going through. You show unconditional positive regard, and it's which is required from the therapist, and it contributes to research on therapy, like when it was founded in 1940s, 1950s by Carl Rogers. A lot of researchers use it to come up with different type of therapeutic intervention to use with their client. So, and this is from the founder of person-centered therapy, which is Carl Rogers. It says, it is the client who knows what hurts, what direction to go, what problems are crucial, what experiences have been deeply buried. It began to occur to me that unless I had a need to demonstrate my own cleverness in learning, I would do better to rely upon the client for the direction of movement in the process. Basically, what it is saying that, okay, the person has been through something in his or her childhood, so the person knows what he or she has been through. The person knows what he or she has injured. The person knows how he or she is feeling at the moment, or how he or she was feeling back when this was happening. So you have to let the person be in control of the process. And now for the weakness of it, it can lead to inflated yourself. Since you only let the person be in control of that process, the person can begin to, okay, if the person comes to you and you just let the person just talk and come up with all of the answers, the person might think that, okay, I don't need anybody, I can do everything by myself, I will just stay home and come up with all of these. And it neglects other factors such as social, cultural, political, economical, and biological. Since it is only client-centered, only view the client. It doesn't okay. The other factors such as family factors, friends, or society, they don't use these. They only see the client. So this is a weakness of it, because in order to help someone, you have to be mindful of everything that is surrounding the person to really come with to a conclusion of what a person has to do to get better. And it is problematic in cross-cultural and from a multicultural perspective. The reason they say that is because in the Asian cultures, like when you go to Asia, these people don't value individual person. They value family. With therapeutic intervention like that, these people will not really view it as something that can help them get better, because they were not raised to just value themselves. They were raised to value family. And it only says, okay, their motto is one size fit all. Like if you have a problem, you were physically abused when you were little, they're gonna use the same process with you. And if you were sexually abused when you were little, they're gonna use the same thing. So one size fit all. And we know that not everybody deals with the problems like the same way. So this is a weakness of it. And the therapist may lose sense of his or own self since they value the person too much. They might lose their sense of value. This is prevalence to sexual abuse. In the United States, about 28 to 33 women have been sexually abused, and about 12 to 18% of men have been sexually abused. And when the person has gone through physical or sexual abuse, these are the things that can impact the person's life. Like the person can develop anxiety disorders. They may have impaired impulse control. They have cognitive and language impairment, and they have dysfunction in the central nervous system, and it can hinder the person's social growth. Because a lot of times when people have been through these physical or sexual abuse, they don't really make friends easily because they are afraid of people. They are afraid that other people will do the same thing to them, so they stay to themselves. So that's why it says it hindered normal social growth. And another other impact that it has on people is that the main one is depression. A lot of times people that have gone through physical or sexual abuse, they are depressed. That's why most of the time they stay to themselves. They feel guilt, they feel shame, they blame themselves, and they develop eating disorders, they develop sexual problems, they have relationship problems, and all of this comes to it's part of their social, and that's why it hindered their social growth, because they just stay to themselves. They don't value family anymore. They don't value friends anymore. They cannot rely on other people because all they can think about is what they have been through. So they don't want to let other people in their lives, so they don't have to go through the same thing again. When they get older, 15s may be thinking negatively about themselves, because when you talk to someone who has been physically or sexually abused, they might be like, I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not worthy of friendship. I'm not worthy of someone considering me as a person. That's because they think negatively about themselves. They have this feeling of worthlessness, like they are not worth anything. They are worth other people. That's why because they think that they have nothing to offer other people. So that's why they usually don't have any friends. And people, like you may have seen on the news, people commit suicide. A lot of times this is the cause of it, because people have been through physical or sexual abuse. You as a therapist, when you encounter someone who has been physically or sexually abused, ways that you can develop that relationship with that person is you have to use encouragement. You have to validate the person, make him or her feel that she is loved, he is loved, he matters, she matters. You have to use self-disclosure, and then you have to set boundaries. You have to let the person know that, okay, what he or she has been through it's not the end of the world. Like, they can go out and make friends, others will accept them for who they are. You have to develop trust and safety and openness. You have to take control over pace and direction of the therapeutic process, and this is key. You have to let the person control the pace and direction of the therapeutic process. You're not supposed to rush the person to come to a conclusion. You let the person talk, you let the person be, and then let them come to that conclusion. Now, I wanted you to watch a video, and from that video, we will take from what we've just learned in the video, tell me whether, after all that you've learned, whether or not you will use person-centered therapy with the person that is in the video.
Push him away, he beat me. And then he raped me. And I was haunted. I was sexually abused when I was about 8 by an older male cousin. I have been sexually assaulted on 4 different occasions. I was 6 years old the first time that I was molested. A neighbor named Hank took me into his house. And at first it was hugging, and then his hands traveled. And when I tried to push him away, he beat me. And then he raped me. And I was haunted by the fact that this happened in a little girl's bedroom. For a long time, I blamed myself. I was just angry. Because I'd go to school, and nobody in school knew what was going on. When I tried to tell my mom, she kicked me out of the house and laughed at me and told me I would never deserve anything better. It became something that lasted until I was 17 years old. I remember after it happened, and after he left, sitting on a bed for a while, torn up and saying, I am never going to tell another living person about this. I went and got my friends, and I drove them home.
Thank you for this. Now, you have the chance. How do you respond to this person's story?
Alright. Now you've heard all these women talking about how they have been sexually or physically abused. Sometimes it is from family members, sometimes it is from friends or a friend of the family. A lot of times it's just when they're a little. So would you use person-centered therapy with all of these women since it is a one-size-fits-all? Question for everybody.
Yeah, I feel like you need person-centered therapy with them. Because it's like with everything that they were explaining is like things that they felt within themselves, like how they felt about the situation. So I don't really think it was like, there was one of them that said that her mom laughed at her and kicked her or something. Yeah, her mom laughed at her and kicked her out after she told her that. So like, I feel like the person-centered therapy work with them because they would want to have somebody that could sit there and listen to them, and like somebody that can help them come to a conclusion, and somewhere that they feel like, you know, comfort and safe. So yeah, I feel like it would work.
Okay, definitely, yeah. Because a lot of times it's someone that your parents know that do that, and I've read somewhere where the mom's boyfriend raped the mom's little girl. He was not the little girl's father, but he raped her. A lot of times the mom just stayed with the person because they don't have anywhere else to go. And this person, imagine that little girl growing up thinking that nobody loves her. Not even her mom believed her when this something happened to her. Anybody else? Would you think that person-centered therapy can still be used with all of them?
I think so. Because I know story about Haitian mom lived in a Jamaican family, and a Jamaican man abused her daughter back in Jersey. And then every time she would tell, no, basically she can't go and tell her mom, she she's abused. Because what happened with mom boyfriend pressure her by telling her if you ever tell your mom, I'm gonna kill you. So imagine that poor girl, I don't think she was 15 at that time when she started abused by a grown man.
Yeah.
You know, still with his mom, her mom. And then she can't go and tell her mom. She can't go and tell nobody because anybody she tell her about, and then the ex-boyfriend gonna do, and she gonna get hurt. That's what she thinks she's gonna get hurt. And finally, when she can't take it no more, she going to tell the grandma. One day she decided to tell her grandma. And by the time grandma learned from her, and grandma going to tell her mom. Now the boyfriend know he getting situation because as soon grandma know and her mom know, and now grandma start pressure her, and then your boyfriend do something to my grandchild, and then he's about to get police involved. I can't believe this crazy bastard killed her and killed her mom before anything just get killed.
Yeah.
And then
That's crazy.
You know what? How do you, what's something I get? You have nobody to go to.
That's
Nobody.
That's really
Yeah.
bad.
You're scared to go to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you think less of yourself. You think, okay, because this happened, it's because you are not worth anything. So if you tell other people, like a lot of times they think that if they tell other people, they're not going to believe them. So that's
what
why they
happened to
think
those
that.
Asian moms, most of them.
Yeah.
When they stay with a guy who abused their daughter,
Yeah.
and then when the daughter tried to say, Mom, I got something to tell you. What you got to tell me? Go wash your dishes.
Yeah.
What is this? They don't want to help from her own
Oh,
daughter.
wow.
Because they have a feeling that their boyfriend is nasty, might be doing something wrong with your own daughter.
Yeah.
So we should take sides for your daughter or just your boyfriend. You should be on your side. You should be on
Yeah,
your
it should be on your son or daughter's side.
Okay, but just for a little piece of economy, you know,
Yeah.
we go. They did this, so forget about the market, forget about the percent. And then later on, you get rich.
Definitely. Anybody else? Yes, Sally?
I think we should start with this sentence first, and based on what you get from the, like, from talking to that person, and I probably gonna jump and see how you can. 'Cause at the same time, it's person-centered, but they also have some family issues that they need to, deal with. Maybe they can start with that, and later they can, jump into another direction that can also help them.
Yes.
So,
Definitely.
the therapist that does the person-centered therapy, is it just that they
No,
like?
they
so
have other techniques that
so,
they can
so
use.
they can, okay.
Yeah. Definitely, you can start with that, and then once you build that relationship with the person, and then you move on to another thing. So you can tackle the family issue, friends issues that they have with friends and stuff like that. Since we're here, do you guys have space to download Kahoot?
Oh,
And you can just delete it?
Yeah, you can just go on your browser.
Okay,
You can do it
can
off
you do
the
that,
browser.
please? When I go to Kahoot. All right, it's just 10 questions, so we're gonna do, 10 questions, you answer them on your phone, and then that's it. Kahoot, you with it?
Now,
Oh, the app?
Are we game?
Yeah, you can just go on. Yeah.
What's the other question? Wait, how's it in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you the link. All right, I'll give you the link right here.
Online?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Just go to Google.
You sure?
Huh? Yeah, 92. You have to answer the question fast.
Like to
6369. Alright, we have 3 people.
Alright.
Who knows that was? Wait. When I have everybody. Okay, we have people. Yes. Alright, we're gonna start. I'll read them. You can also read the question on the projector, but I'll also read them to you. So you have to get fast to answer them. Alright, first question. In what year was person-centered therapy founded? 1900, 1910, 1940s, 1920s, 1950s. Which one? 8 seconds, 7 seconds. We have 3 people who got it right. Assessment on person-centered therapy. Alright, so we have 3 people who got it right. So it was developed in 1940s, 1950s by Paul Gardner. Definitely. Next question. Next question. Yeah, that's funny. Alright, next question. Who founded person-centered therapy? Paul Finn, Doc Rogers, Paul Rogers, or no one? I just said it. Alright, one people said no one. Alright, it was Paul Rogers. Paul Rogers founded person-centered therapy. Good job, guys. Good job. Next question. What is one of the techniques for person-centered therapy? Empathy, being directive, being rude, or none of the above? Empathy? Definitely, everybody got it right. You have to be empathetic towards the client. Next question. Which one has 3 other factors that are neglected in person-centered therapy? Social, psychology, and needs, cultural, social, and school, wants, pets, food, or social, cultural, and biological. Which one has 3 that are neglected? Definitely.
Come on.
So remember, I said it is client directed, so it neglects the social, cultural, biological, economical aspect of the person's life. Definitely. Good job, guys. Next question. It is recommended to refer to the person as client instead of patient. True or false? It is recommended to refer to the person as client instead of patient. Remember, I said that. True or false? Definitely, this is true. Because when you hear the word patient, you see hospital. But when this person comes to you, you have to view the person as a client to build that relationship. Good job, guys. Next question. True or false? It is encouraged to judge the client in person-centered therapy. It is encouraged to judge the client in person-centered therapy. True or false?
Oh, wait.
It is false. You're not supposed to judge the person at all. That is why. Yeah. That is why.
When they asked, is it encouraged? I thought it was like, is it encouraged to like look at them in person-centered?
No,
That's
it is
why I
not.
asked.
You have to. You're not supposed to judge the person. All right, true or false again. One of the strengths of person-centered therapy is unconditional positive reward. Is it true or false? One of the strengths of it is unconditional positive reward. Definitely, it is true. That's why you do not judge the person. Good job. That is why you do not judge the person. You show positive unconditional. Okay, next question. Relationship is not key in person-centered therapy. It is not key. Relationship is not is yourself. You're false. It is true that you value the client too much. It is true. Alright, next question. Last question. Last question. True or false again? The person should be viewed as a helpless patient and not a partner in the process. True or false? The person should be viewed. Definitely, it is false. The person should be viewed as a client and not a helpless person. Who has the first one? Donut is number